Time leaves its mark on a woman's face, but cannot touch her soul. As the years pass, a woman realizes the power of accepting herself with raw honesty, not hiding behind adornments. For elegance lies not in expensive clothes, but in experiences that have cost dearly. Life has tested her many times with her love, her loneliness, her silent tears. But each time she has risen again because there is nobility within her, unpretentious but unshakable. She now knows that beauty begins not in how others see her, but in how she sees herself. After a certain age, a woman becomes not just invisible, but a depth that goes unnoticed. Few can see that depth, because this elegance is not superficial enough for the masses to understand. When the sparkle of youth fades, the only thing that remains is character. It is that character that makes a woman unique. The elegant woman no longer lives to be admired, but to exist in peace. She doesn't speak, but her presence speaks. She doesn't dress up, but her energy is already like an outfit, simple, noble, and lasting. Her beauty is no longer seen with the eyes, but with the soul. Because she is not ostentatious, she is a real woman. And now, together with you, we will unlock the secrets of this elegance. Because what comes with age is not just lines, but a legacy of wisdom. Write the sentence, "True elegance begins with inner peace," in the comments. Because when you write it, you will affirm not only the words, but also your own inner strength. That sentence will be a silent intention for your elegance, a calm reminder for your life. If you're ready, let's begin. 1. They express their feelings with grace, not haste. As a woman matures, she shows her anger not by shouting, but by her silence, because she now knows that shouting is the cry of a weak soul. An elegant woman doesn't suppress her feelings, but she doesn't broadcast them either. She has learned to carry the storms inside her outward like a smile. This smile is the most powerful way to say everything without saying anything. People think she is silent, but in fact, her every word is measured, her every reaction is considered. Because grace begins not only in dress, it begins in the management of emotion. In youth, our emotions carry us away. With age, we guide them. The elegant woman realizes this. When she remains silent in anger, it is not a moment of loss, but of self-preservation. Because emotions define a woman, but how she expresses them reveals her level. She no longer rushes to respond to every heartbeat. She can convey the situation with a glance, not a word. This power is a wisdom gained over time. Every mature woman learns at some point. Controlling your emotions does not make you cold, it makes you strong. The elegant woman knows that what resonates most in the world is quiet dignity. When people anger or hurt her, she simply takes a deep breath and withdraws. This withdrawal is not an escape, but a choice. Because she now knows, not everyone deserves her emotions. Some people only deserve distance, and establishing that distance with grace is the most noble sign of a woman's self-respect. That's why she doesn't say everything. She simply makes some things felt. The elegant woman chooses her words carefully when expressing her emotions. Her words are not sharp, but touching. When people listen to her, they don't get defensive. Instead, they start to think. Because she uses her feelings not as a weapon, but as an art form, she knows how to speak without breaking, how to explain without hurting. Every sentence carries a balance, both strength and softness, both mind and heart. That's why everyone who talks to her feels a little more respectful, because elegance is contagious. And most importantly, an elegant woman does not suppress her feelings, she transforms them. She turns her hurt into strength, her loneliness into depth. She extracts new elegance from every pain, because she knows that elegance is born from the essence of pain. The lines that appear on her face over the years are the silent traces of those feelings. But those lines hold wisdom, not anger. Even though she feels everything, she shares only what is necessary. Because a woman who expresses her emotions with grace, not haste, does not merely age, she elevates herself. By the way, if you like the video and subscribe to our channel, you'll be supporting me in the most effective way. 2. They invest in their energy, not their skin. As a woman ages, she realizes, no cream, no cosmetic procedure can give her the glow that comes from inner peace. That's why an elegant woman doesn't look for wrinkles when she looks in the mirror. She controls her life energy. Because she knows that skin is just a surface, but energy is a signature. If her eyes sparkle and her smile is serene, she is already beautiful. She has learned over time that the radiance of the skin is temporary, but the light of the soul is permanent. That is why preserving her energy is her most valuable beauty ritual. The elegant woman has made maintaining her inner balance a discipline. When planning her day, she determines not only what she will wear on the outside, but also how she will feel on the inside. Because she knows that every person dresses in their own energy. Negative thoughts sit on her face like bad makeup. That's why she carries peace in her heart, order in her mind, and gratitude in her soul. Treating herself well is her most powerful beauty secret, because her outer appearance is a reflection of her inner world. Investing in her energy means not talking to everyone, not entering every environment, not responding to every word. The elegant woman is selective. She does not let people into the door of her soul. She only greets them politely, because she knows that every contact is an exchange of energy. The soul pays the price for spending long periods of time with tired, jealous, or empty people. That's why she doesn't think she's losing anything when she chooses solitude. On the contrary, every moment she turns to herself, she regains her energy. Investing in her energy is like a ritual for the elegant woman. She ends her day with silence in the morning and gratitude in the evening. She reads books that nourish her soul, connects with nature, and sometimes renews herself with just a deep breath. Because she knows that whatever nourishes her body also affects her soul. That's why she pays attention to what she eats, thinks, and listens to. What she shows her eyes and what she feels in her heart matters. This awareness makes her wise, not old. And finally, she realizes this. Elegance is not an outward appearance, but a form of energy. Skin may wrinkle, hair may turn gray, but the energy of the soul is the true source of beauty. That's why when she looks in the mirror, she sees not the traces of the years, but the gift of life. Because a woman who invests in her energy does not succumb to time. She carries her own light at every age. This light shines not through makeup, but through awareness. That is why she does not age. She only shines brighter. 3. They use smiling not as a defense, but as a tool of power. An elegant woman knows that smiling is not a sign of weakness. It is an expression of high awareness. She has learned over the years, you can rule the world not by appearing tough, but with a calm smile. Because this smile comes from her inner balance. She no longer smiles to please anyone, but to reflect her love for herself. In that smile there is acceptance, wisdom, and sometimes even a challenge. People think he is strong, but he is simply at peace. Because true strength is no longer feeling the need to explain oneself. Behind that smile lie great pains, losses, silent resistances. But he never puts any of them on display, because he knows that every wound becomes a source of strength. Every fracture is carried not by a line on his face, but by the depth in his eyes. That's why her smile isn't fake, it's wise. She can maintain her grace even when her heart is weary. This is her invisible armor. People may not know how much she has been through, but they intuitively sense it. This woman's smile is the result of a hard-won peace. For the elegant woman, smiling is the most noble way to connect with people, because a smile says more than words. It is silent but impressive. Even when someone is rude to her, she just smiles. There is no condescension in that smile. There is distance, because she knows that sometimes a glance or a smile can be a more powerful response than long sentences. With her smile, she sets boundaries without fighting, withdraws without hurting. This is her most elegant weapon. But most importantly, the elegant woman's smile is sincere, because she no longer plays a role or hides her feelings. If she smiles, it is from the heart. If she is silent, it is with intention. This inner consistency is the foundation of her nobility. She no longer tries to explain herself to others or prove herself right, because she knows that peace does not require explanation. With her smile, she protects her own space, her own energy. This is a balance learned over the years. And in the end, she learns this: true elegance is hidden behind a smile. This smile is neither fake happiness nor superficial politeness. It is an acceptance that flows from the heart, the reflection of a spirit at peace with its past, living its present with kindness, and looking to the future with confidence. That is why when an elegant woman smiles, everyone falls silent, because in that smile, both strength and peace shine at the same time. 4. They stopped comparing themselves years ago. A woman's elegance begins not when she tries to surpass someone else, but when she accepts herself as she is. An elegant woman may have tasted the exhaustion of comparison in her youth. In the years when others seemed more beautiful, richer, more lucky, she magnified her own shortcomings. But time taught her a great lesson. Comparison diminishes the spirit. She no longer envies anyone's smile or body, because she knows that no woman is another woman's mirror. Every soul is the sole hero of its own story. The elegant woman found the true meaning of freedom the moment she stopped comparing herself to others. Since that day, other people's successes no longer bother her. On the contrary, they inspire her. Because a mature woman knows that someone else's light does not magnify your darkness. On the contrary, it makes the world brighter. This awareness gives her a deep inner peace. Now, when she looks in the mirror, she sees not someone else but her own past, and she smiles lovingly at the woman she once was. Because everything she has experienced has transformed her into the elegant woman she is today. Not comparing oneself is not passive acceptance, it is active wisdom. The elegant woman neither competes nor retreats. She moves forward at her own pace. Life for her is not a race, but a walk. Every step is conscious, every breath is filled with awareness. Even if someone passes her, she smiles, because the only person she is competing with is her past self. If she can surpass her past self, she has already won. This simple self-confidence creates an invisible aura of grace around her. People cannot understand why, but they feel at peace in her presence. And perhaps the most important point is this: a woman who stops comparing herself also stops judging other women. She no longer talks about their hair, their weight, their style. Instead, she respects their stories, because she knows that every woman's elegance is a different tone. One carries it in her silence, another in her laughter. Not comparing brings loving regard. That is why an elegant woman elevates not only herself, but all women. An elegant woman knows that true beauty begins where comparison ends, because beauty is not a superiority, but a state of balance, and the woman who finds that balance possesses timeless charm. If these words resonate with you, the rest of this video will take you to a deeper awareness, because the real secret of elegance lies not only in not comparing yourself to others, but in turning inward and asking yourself, who do I want to be? We will explore this together. 5. They organize their homes and surroundings with simple yet aesthetic tranquility. An elegant woman knows that her surroundings are a reflection of her soul. The colors in her home, the order, even the placement of a vase are a reflection of her inner world. She no longer seeks showiness, but balance. When she was young, she may have wanted to attract attention. Now she seeks peace. That's why everything in her home has meaning, but nothing is superfluous. A simple table, a few books, dim lighting. Together, they create a space of tranquility. Because elegance is not found in abundance, but in select simplicity. Over time, she has learned that aesthetics appeal not only to the eye, but also to the soul. The first impression when entering a room is important. The air, the color, the silence. They all carry an energy. The elegant woman arranges her home not just to live in it, but to breathe in it. She knows she cannot find peace in cluttered spaces. That is why every object is a symbol to her. She keeps nothing that has no meaning, stores nothing she has no emotional connection to, because simplifying is not just about tidiness, it is an emotional detox. There are no expensive things in her home, but everything is valuable, because value is measured not by price, but by selectivity. Perhaps there is an old painting hanging on a wall, perhaps a flower she has been watching for years on the windowsill, but everything is in its place. There is nothing extra in the atmosphere of that home, only what belongs there. And that order relaxes not the guests, but the owner. Because the elegant woman knows that the peace of the home rebuilds a person's energy. That is why her home is her silent sanctuary, a protected space against the chaos of the outside world. The elegant woman organizes her surroundings while also organizing her inner self. As she discards the excess, she makes room in her heart. Along with unnecessary items, she leaves behind her old burdens. Every simplification brings a sense of freedom. The atmosphere of her home radiates a quiet but powerful energy. Whoever enters feels a sense of calm, because that home is beautiful not for what it has, but for the noise it lacks. This is elegance transformed into space. 6. They remind you of their presence, not their perfume. True elegance is recognized not by scent, but by presence. An elegant woman knows that when she enters a room, she should rely on her energy, not her perfume, to be impressive. Her presence is not to attract attention, but to create balance. People may forget what she said when they leave her side, but they will never forget how she made them feel, because she is as lasting as a scent. But she leaves a natural, not artificial mark. That mark is a reflection of her self-respect and inner peace. Perfumes are temporary, but a woman's posture, tone of voice, walk, and the peace in her eye contact are lasting. That's why an elegant woman doesn't strive to make an impression. She simply exists, but even her existence changes her surroundings. People feel warmth, balance, and elegance in her energy. No one can quite explain it. But even being near her calms the heart, because that woman doesn't shine from the outside, she shines from within. For an elegant woman, elegance is not a scent, it is a state of being. She wears little perfume but carries herself well, because she knows that a woman's most powerful perfume is her self-confidence. There is a rhythm in her walk, a softness in her voice, a nobility in her posture. Her elegance cannot be learned, it is felt. She is quiet in the environment she enters, but her presence changes everything. People don't say, "She smells so good" after she leaves. They say, "She had such a beautiful energy." She focuses on being remembered, not noticed. Because an elegant woman knows that being impressive is momentary, but leaving a mark is an art. She doesn't need to speak loudly, dress provocatively, or leave a scent to stay in someone's mind. She can touch a person's heart with just a simple smile. Because her power lies not in showiness, but in subtlety. And over time, people realize some women pass by, but some remain. The elegant woman is one of those who remain, because it is not her scent that is remembered, but her spirit. Her presence echoes in the mind like a memory, her elegance like a melody. Even years later, that woman is unforgettable, because her elegance is not perfume, it is existence. 7. They carry elegance not only in their appearance, but also in their reactions. The elegant woman knows that true nobility is revealed not in what she wears, but in how she behaves. Because clothing is only an image, but a reaction is a mirror. When someone hurts you, they do not define you. Your response defines them. That is why an elegant woman no longer reacts reflexively, but with awareness. Even if she gets angry, she does not raise her voice, because she knows that a raised voice is where reason falls. Her silence is strengthened by an inner balance, and that balance is an elegance that no argument, no provocation can disturb. This woman is no longer a slave to immediate reactions. When she was young, she might have responded immediately. Now, even when the time comes, she chooses to remain silent, because she knows that some people seek not the answer they deserve, but the deficiency they carry within themselves. That's why she no longer engages in the effort to prove herself. Elegance is sometimes not saying, "I'm right." Sometimes it's just smiling and closing the subject, because maturity is not hidden in not reacting, but in choosing the right reaction. The elegant woman knows that the most impressive stance is revealed in moments of crisis. While others panic, she takes a deep breath, thinks, then speaks. Her every word, her every movement is measured. This measuredness does not make her cold. It makes her reliable. People find peace in her presence because she has learned to control her emotions. She no longer allows others' behavior to affect her emotional balance. This is a refinement, an inner discipline that comes with years of experience. The true power of grace lies in its ability to transform the person opposite her, because an elegant woman's response can be gentle even to an attack. Anger melts and rudeness ends in the face of her kindness. This is not passive patience, it is a conscious choice, because she knows maintaining a high level is always more valuable than reacting. In this way, she creates an area of trust around her. People feel respected, not defensive, when they are around her. And perhaps the most important difference is this: an elegant woman carries even her own emotions with elegance. She shows her sadness, but does not spread it. She experiences her happiness, but does not exaggerate it. Her inner balance is more impressive than her outward appearance. People cannot quite explain why, but even talking to her is refreshing, because she is beautiful not only in appearance, but also in her reactions. If this description resonates with you, in the rest of the video we will explore the unseen side of elegance, emotional resilience, inner balance, and the quiet power of the soul in greater depth. Because elegance is not only about how you look, but also about how you respond to the world. 8. They have made gratitude a habit. The elegant woman knows that gratitude is the silent prayer of the heart. Life may not have given her everything, but she has learned to see what she has. Over the years, she has experienced pain, loss, and loneliness. But one day she realized there is a small gift hidden in everything. Gratitude has become her way of life. She no longer starts her day with complaints, but with awareness. She is thankful for the warmth of a cup of coffee, the reflection of the morning light on the window, even the simplicity of her inner peace. Because she knows that true happiness is not found in big events, but in small realizations. The elegant woman maintains her sense of gratitude even in difficult times, because for her, gratitude is not a result but a choice. Even on days when she is broken or disappointed, she quietly says to herself, "This has taught me something." She understands that life does not owe her anything. Every age, every loss, every wound has made her wiser. That is why she no longer says, "Why me?" about anything. She says, "I was able to experience this too." This awareness softens her heart and gives her face that indescribable peace. Gratitude keeps the elegant woman forever young, because gratitude is the antidote to negative thoughts. A grateful mind does not feel lacking. It no longer focuses on what others have, but on the values within itself. That is why it does not envy, rush, or become greedy. It knows that everything comes in its own time. Gratitude makes it both patient and resilient. A heart that can say, "This too has meaning" in the face of every difficulty never breaks. It only deepens. And over time she realizes, gratitude is a woman's most elegant accessory. No matter what she wears, nothing shines as brightly as a grateful heart. Because gratitude is a quiet reflection of inner peace, she sees everything she experiences as a lesson, never wasting a single day. This attitude makes her wise, not old, and everyone who observes her senses this, because gratitude is the purest form of elegance. 9. They find deep happiness in simple things. The elegant woman knows that happiness lies not in grand events, but in small moments of awareness. Perhaps she pursued big goals when she was young, but over time she has learned. The essence of life lies in small moments, the smell of morning coffee, the sun peeking through the curtains, the wind touching her hair. These are not ordinary moments, they are sacred moments, because the elegant woman has now chosen to live this moment rather than more. Life, to her, is not a race, but a journey of awareness. For the elegant woman, simplicity is not a deprivation. It is a privilege. She has left behind complicated lives, noisy people, and meaningless hustle and bustle. She has chosen a simple life because true pleasure is hidden in simple things. The blooming of a flower, the smile of a child, the sincere greeting of a friend. This is the essence of life for her. Her eyes are no longer on the details, but on the depths. She finds meaning in everything, beauty in every moment. This awareness makes her both peaceful and strong. She knows that happiness is not a goal, but a state of being. That is why she has made it a habit to adorn each day with small acts of gratitude. No matter what life brings her, her inner balance remains unshaken, because she does not tie her happiness to external circumstances. Her peace depends not on the behavior of others, but on her own perspective. This elevates her to a timeless elegance, because happiness that comes from within reflects on her face, her voice, her very being. And perhaps most beautifully, this woman spreads this peace to those around her. Everyone who talks to her unconsciously slows down, calms down, and begins to think. Because this woman lives happiness not as a result, but as a choice, she neither spreads fake joy nor displays exaggerated serenity. She is genuine, simple yet profound, quiet yet compelling. Perhaps that is why everyone who meets her unconsciously rediscovers the small joys in their own lives. 10. They enjoy looking beautiful without expecting compliments. An elegant woman knows that true beauty begins not in the eyes of others, but in her own gaze. She no longer dresses up to seek external approval. When she looks in the mirror, the feeling of "I am good" that comes from within is enough. Because the years have taught her, compliments pass but self-respect remains. She dresses not to impress others but to show respect for her own spirit. That's why even in a simple dress, she radiates elegance. Because her beauty lies not in makeup, but in her posture. She may have once tried hard to please others with her appearance, but now she knows that a woman's true radiance lies in how she feels about herself. Waiting for others' approval tires the soul. She has now let go of this fatigue. When dressing, she thinks not, "How will I look?" but "How will I feel?" This difference adds a completely different energy to her appearance, because when beauty is combined with self-confidence, it turns into a natural charm. Those who see her are unconsciously affected, but cannot explain why. True elegance begins when the desire to be noticed is transcended. An elegant woman possesses a quiet charm. She does not try to remind anyone of herself, but everyone remembers her. Because her beauty is unassuming, she attracts attention not with flashy makeup or expensive clothes, but even with a simple glance. People don't understand her beauty, they just feel it. Because that beauty radiates from the inside out, not from the outside in. And perhaps the most captivating thing is that an elegant woman lives her beauty without noticing it. She doesn't criticize or judge herself when she looks at herself. She simply gives thanks, because she knows that the moment a woman loves herself, she begins to change. And that change is more lasting than makeup, more profound than aesthetics. That is why she looks beautiful even without compliments, because she has chosen to live that beauty, not just to carry it. 11. They love the grace of maturity, not the exuberance of youth. An elegant woman knows that youth is a phase, but elegance is a state of mind. In her youth, she may have lived fast, pursued strong emotions, loved carelessly, and broken easily. But as the years passed, she understood. True beauty lies in serenity. Now she seeks depth, not excitement. She looks for meaning, not the thrill of everything. Youth is fleeting, but the elegance that comes with wisdom makes a woman shine at any age. That's why she no longer tries to look young. She wants to look serene. For the elegant woman, maturity is not a loss. It is a gain. She no longer hides her age. She honors it, because every line is a story, every mark is a memory. The energy she had in her youth has now given way to serenity, and this serenity makes her more attractive. She no longer wants to attract attention in crowds. It is enough to be noticed by her presence alone, because true magnetism is not found in loud voices. It is hidden in deep silence. Her elegance is like a delicacy refined by the years, simple yet impressive. The exuberance of youth often spills outward. The grace of maturity settles inward. The elegant woman no longer wants to live more, but to live more meaningfully. She has no time for unnecessary people, artificial excitement, or empty talk. Sincerity, simplicity, and serenity are fundamental in her world. Because she knows that a woman's power is no longer measured by how much attention she attracts, but by how much peace she maintains. That is why exuberance has given way to a calm nobility. The elegant woman does not long for youth, but carries the freshness it brings in her soul. Because she does not lose her inner youth, she simply combines it with maturity. Now her energy is more balanced, her love more selective, her reactions more wise. Time, which flowed quickly in her youth, is now shaped like an art in her hands. She lives each moment carefully, never rushing through any emotion. Because she knows that elegance matures with patience, and beauty that comes with patience never fades with age. And finally, she realizes this: youth attracts attention, maturity commands respect. She no longer seeks to be admired, but to be appreciated, because true elegance is not an outward appearance, but a maturity of spirit. That is why the elegant woman cherishes the depth of maturity, not the sparkle of youth. Her beauty is no longer a fleeting glow, but a lasting warmth. People talk about her energy, not her age, because she represents not the passage of years, but the permanence of elegance. 12. They maintain their inner peace even in crowds. The elegant woman knows that peace is not found in a quiet room. It lies in not losing oneself in the midst of chaos. Throughout her life, she has encountered noisy people, time rushing by, and mixed emotions. But she has now learned this: you cannot silence the crowd outside, but you can manage the voice within. That is why, wherever she goes, she carries her center with her. Even if there is chaos around her, she creates a space of silence within herself. This silence is not an escape. It is mature mastery. For the elegant woman, peace is not a result, but a choice. Even in tense environments, she does not constrict her heart. She regulates her breathing, because she knows that a person who cannot control their reactions becomes a prisoner of others' energy. She, however, does not surrender her energy to anyone. Even in a crowded place, she returns to her center with a deep breath and remembers herself. In those moments, she listens only to her inner self, not the world. That is why her peace is unbreakable, because it is not fed from the outside. She has now understood that silence is not a luxury, but a necessity. That is why she does not try to control the outside world. Others talk, rush, argue, but she just observes, because she knows that maturity lies not in saying everything, but in understanding everything. Crowds cannot shake her inner balance because she has now learned peace is not a place, but a state. The woman who maintains this state relies not on her age, but on her consciousness. And finally she realizes this: peace is achieved not by distancing oneself from the world, but by keeping the world at bay within oneself. This awareness makes her spirit silent but strong. She can now remain elegant even in the midst of chaos, because she has learned not to silence the noise outside, but to hear her own inner voice. And that is why, even in crowds, she is not alone. She is complete. Her presence is the most noble form of silence. It is like a refuge within herself. The elegant woman gains strength not by silencing the noise of life, but by learning to remain silent within it. She no longer tries to impress anyone, prove herself, or fix the past, because she knows that elegance is not in appearance but in attitude. Happiness is not in crowds but in inner tranquility. Each age has taught her to simplify a little more, slow down a little more, feel a little more deeply. Beauty is no longer hidden in a mirror, but in a glance, in silence, in a smile. And that smile is the work of consciousness, not of the years. Because in the end, the elegant woman understands. Aging is inevitable, but remaining elegant is an art. Don't forget to subscribe. I love you, and I want you to love yourself too.